Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedom and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country. In the courtrooms of America, Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedom.
Is the U.S. Army now training individuals that Christians and evangelicals, even Roman Catholics, are extremists? Hi, I'm Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel. We're going to be talking about it today with Matt Barber, vice president of Liberty Counsel Action. Matt, this story comes from an Army Reserve training, equal opportunity training PowerPoint that was recently given on the issue of extremism. And you would think that, of course, if they're training people in the Army Reserve about what is out there that could be considered extremism and potential threats, that you would include Al-Qaeda and Hamas and things of that nature. And those were included, but they didn't top the list. Something else topped the list that is shocking, and it is you and I. Evangelicals, Christians, and Roman Catholics top the list. They are higher than Al-Qaeda.
Yeah, we're seeing this occur more and more, Matt. You recall a couple years back when the Department of Homeland Security, Janet Napolitano, put out a report for law enforcement officials around the country, basically saying the same thing, that pro-life individuals, people who supported natural marriage, people who wanted a decentralized, to shrink the size and scope of government, that we were all potential terrorists, domestic terrorists. This is in keeping.
It came out in 2009 as part of the Department of Homeland Security report.
Right. Right.
And that was right after she became the head of the DHS. And then earlier this year, in West Point, the counterterrorism division there, they presented a manual with regards to the very same thing, that the people who were potential extremists and threats would be people who believed in the Second Amendment, limited government, who were patriotic, pro-life, veterans. Those kinds of individuals would be potential terrorists. Now, they also acknowledged later on in the report, well, there was really no evidence that this had actually taken place.
Zero.
That there was no evidence that they've actually done anything wrong, but they're people to watch. Now, the third thing comes out during this administration, and it's the Army Reserve Equal Opportunity Training Brief on extremism. And the very top one, it's got religious extremism on this one PowerPoint. That's the main title. And on this PowerPoint, it has evangelical Christians or evangelical Christianity. It later then also talks about Al-Qaeda, Hamas. It lists the Ku Klux Klan. It also lists Roman Catholicism as religious extremists. Yeah. Now, I don't know about you, but I haven't seen any Roman Catholics running around the country that are religious extremists or evangelicals. Where are those religious extremists that are posing a threat to the country?
This is a strategy of false guilt by false association. This is the brainchild of the Southern Poverty Law Center. They have set the trend here. They do this, of course, by taking mainstream Christian organizations like the Family Research Council and others and juxtaposing them just like this alongside the Ku Klux Klan, alongside violent the Aryan Brotherhood and other violent, truly extremist hate groups, and labeling them hate groups. It's a false guilt by false association. The Southern Poverty Law Center denies having provided the materials for this. I don't believe them for a minute. They've been caught in multiple lies over the years. But
even if they had provided the material, they've set this ball in motion.
The strategy.
And this administration has adopted the Southern Poverty Law Center's information lock, stock, and barrel.
Yeah, it's disingenuous. They know it's a lie. They know exactly what they're doing. This is pure Saul Alinsky. These are the same methods that we saw used in Stalinist Russia and so forth to besmirch and marginalize people with whom they disagree. It's ridiculous. It's offensive. It's an apples to oranges comparison to align evangelical Christianity, evangelical Christians with Al-Qaeda, Matt. They know that it's ridiculous to do it, but if you do it and if you repeat a lie over and over again, and if this was an isolated incident, where this happened one time in a vacuum, I'd be concerned, but not as concerned. Under this Obama administration, getting materials, we know that they're getting many of their materials on this stuff from the Southern Poverty Law Center. This is the third time now that something like this has blown up.
Well, now the Army spokesman George Wright told Fox News that this was, quote, an isolated incident, not condoned by the Department of the Army. He also said that the slide was not produced by the Army and certainly does not reflect our policy on doctrine regarding this issue. It was produced by an individual, he says, without anyone in the chain of commands, knowledge, or permission. We consider the matter closed, he said. He said the complaint was lodged, the presenter deleted the slide and apologized. Well, the presenter ought to be terminated from future presentations. They should take strong action. For them to list evangelical Christianity as the number one on this slide for and in fact, here's another one. Mormons are listed, the fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That's right there along with Sunni Muslims, the Nation of Islam, and other kinds of real radical, violent groups. And this is unacceptable. Yeah. An apology here is not just simply appropriate. They need to take more forceful action so that this never happens again. And so what happens is this person got this information from someplace. Yeah. Or where did the person probably get it? We don't know for sure. But we do know that the Southern Poverty Law Center has been putting out this kind of radical misinformation. We now know recently that within the last few weeks, what else did they add to their list of hate groups and extremist organizations to watch? Tea Party groups. Tea Party groups have now made it to the Southern Poverty Law Center's list of hate groups.
The Southern Poverty Law Center's Minister of Disinformation is a fellow by the name of Mark Potok. And he was just interviewed for an extensive expose on the Southern Poverty Law Center that came out. I think it was an American Spectator. Fantastic article that reveals them as a fundraising behemoth. They spend an inordinate amount of the money that they make fundraising to do more fundraising. That it's a marketing strategist. They lean on the radical, unfounded fears of leftists, of extremists, left-wing extremists. They fan those fears and fan those flames in order to raise a whole bunch of money and have their multi-million-dollar building there in Alabama and in Montgomery, I believe it is, in Alabama and so forth. But Mark Potok, he knows exactly what he's doing here. Anybody who would put out a slide presentation like this for the military should not be taken seriously. They have marginalized themselves. They have disqualified themselves from having a serious voice in the public debate, public discourse. The Southern Poverty Law Center has disqualified itself from being taken seriously. Anybody who would so blatantly juxtapose Christians with violent extremist terrorist groups, as the Southern Poverty Law Center has done, cannot be taken seriously in society.
Well, how did we find out about this particular website? Well, it was a soldier who was there at the presentation who was offended by this. He asked the presenter if he could get a copy of the slide presentation. So he gave it to him. He then sent it to the Chaplain Alliance. He considers himself an evangelical Christian. He did not obviously appreciate his faith to be classified as a terrorist. This individual told Fox News there was, quote, a pervasive attitude in the presentation that anything associated with religion is an extremist. How does that just simply, I apologize, I made a mistake and put that slide presentation there. No, your whole presentation seemed to be along this line. So this apology is just simply unacceptable. The Archdiocese for the Military Services said they were shocked to learn that the Army considered Catholicism to be an extremism organization. The Archdiocese, they said, is astounded that Catholics were listed alongside groups that are, by their very mission and nature, violent and extremist, the Archdiocese said in a statement.
Left-wing extremism and anti-Christian bigotry are alive and well, and the Southern Poverty Law Center is fanning the flames, Matt.
And you know where this is going? It's just like in Nazi Germany. What did they do? They ultimately painted this straw man of the Jews and the people that they didn't want as part of their preferred society. They dehumanized them. They ultimately fanned an environment where people hated them so that when they ultimately did take their lives, people turned a blind eye. And people agreed with that. That's why we've got to push back on this radical redefinition of language and redefinition of ideas. Go to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org. That's lc.org. Ask for our Patriots Handbook series. It's a series of small handbooks. One of them deals with the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, has the essay or the speech from Patrick Henry, "Give me liberty or give me death." Also remember Liberty Counsel in your prayers and support. And remember to come to the Awakening 2013. TheAwakeningUSA.org is the website.
You have been listening to Faith and Freedom with Liberty Counsel. We hope that we have motivated you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedom. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email updates. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.